everyone, it's Michelle, and today I'm super excited because I am doing a Spartan race. Well, not today, tomorrow. I've been training really hard for almost 8 weeks, and this video is basically just going to show you most of the different workouts, some of the different workouts at least, that I was doing along the way. I talked about my fitness journey a little while ago, and a lot of you expressed interest. So if you're not into working out, if you don't want to see me train, then please skip this video. But if you want to see what I did to get Spartan ready, let's go. Good morning, everyone. I just woke up. It is Monday, December 30th. Just try to show you there. It's Monday, December 30th. And I was gonna start this video on January 1st, and then I was like, fuck your resolutions. Start it now. So here I am. I'm gonna weigh in. It's not gonna be pretty. I've eaten like shit for the last week and a half, literally every day, because it was the holidays. I celebrated too big. Let's go. All right, 148.6. The Spartan race that I'm doing is February 23rd. So I literally have less than 2 months. I'm too tired to do the math right now, but I'll figure it out as we go. But I figure I'll just take you training with me. You can see different exercises I do. We can see how much weight I lose, if any, and yeah, it'll be a good time. I do a lot of HIIT, at least a few times a week, which is high intensity interval training. Anything you really see me doing, it's usually 45 seconds of work and then 10 to 15 seconds of rest, just depending on who the teacher is. I do like to take a lot of classes. This one, we were using paper as sliders, and yeah, that was really intense. But if you see me working like this, just know 45 seconds of work, we'll save 15 seconds of rest. So what you just saw was different HIIT classes. This class is different. It's actually called Shred, but honestly, it's the same thing. It's HIIT. It's high intensity interval training, 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of rest. And this teacher really does a lot of lower body stuff, very squat heavy, lunge heavy. Finally started getting warm enough for us to train outside a little bit. So a few days a week, me and my friend Allison, we were doing the Spartan together along with our other friend Janae. We would train outside, and luckily our gym, the Y, they have these big tires, so we could do box jumps, tire jumps on them, dips. There we are planking, so we would just hold it for a minute. Yeah, different things, squats, lunges, just to kind of be outside. We'd bear crawl through the grass, we would run, more burpees, because with the Spartan race, there's penalty burpees for, say you can't complete an obstacle, they make you do 30 burpees. So it was nice to be able to train outside during this 7.5 weeks as well. Very obviously feeling myself, feeling the oats. So this is just a little home workout that I recorded in case y'all want to work out with me. Now, my form, I know, isn't the best. I'm still working on things, but we're all kind of a work in progress. So basically, this is a class that I did it at the gym, and I came home and recorded it for you guys so you could see just a full kind of class breakdown. We're working for 45 seconds and resting for 15 seconds, and we go through everything once, and then we repeat it 4 times. So you're doing everything 4 times. So after the after these upward rows, I would repeat from the beginning. And then after arms, we did abs. Again, you work for 45 seconds, rest for 15. And once you're done with the 4 moves, you repeat it from the beginning 4 times. Same thing after abs, we did legs. And again, work for 45 seconds, rest for 15 seconds, and then you'll repeat the legs over. And that's like a 30-minute workout, should be. I think maybe it's 26, but it's close enough. With stretching, you always want to warm up in the beginning, stretch afterwards, and that's a nice 30-minute workout. Getting closer to race day, I can feel myself leaning out from all of this working out. Still not where I need to be, but I'm okay with it. So one of the obstacles for the Spartan race was the rope climb. I had never climbed a rope in my life, and I thought it would be so easy. Turns out it is not. One of the obstacles is a bucket carry, and we practice carrying weighted buckets or flipping tires for like a tire flipping thing. We really had to climb a rope, which neither one of us had done. So we tried. It took actually a span over a few weeks, but in all actuality, it was only 7 days that we tried to climb the rope. We'd usually practice for like anywhere from 20 minutes to like 45 minutes climbing this damn rope. And I'd say I was only getting like maybe 3 pulls up the first probably 4 days. I don't think it was until my 4th or 5th day that I actually made it halfway up the rope. Which I was super stoked on. This was my 6th attempt at the rope climb, and I made it seriously like almost all the way to the top. I think I was about 2 pulls away. We weren't recording at that point because we honestly didn't expect me to get that high, but even in this clip, I made it decently high, but not as high as the first go around. It wasn't until like that last and final 7th day that I finally made it to the freaking top of that rope, and I was pumped. I did it 3 times. Okay, so I figure while I'm sitting here in the middle of doing my makeup, I should do my last weigh-in before the race. The race is tomorrow, so yeah, let's see the damage. I'm gonna be honest, I don't expect to have lost hardly any weight. I've been training a lot, but I've also been eating a lot. My diet's what I struggle with with the most. So yeah, if I lost any weight, that's cool. I think I was like 148 point something at the start of this, so I'm gonna hop on the scale. That's actually way better than I thought it'd be. I still lost weight. What was I, like I don't remember. Okay, so I lost like at least 4 pounds then. I'll do the math. I'm okay with that. That's all right. Yeah, better than losing nothing. And hopefully I've gained some muscle too, so. Woo! Race day has come and gone, guys. Man, what a time to be alive. Where do I start? For those of you that don't know, I live in Savannah, Georgia currently, and the race was in Jacksonville, Florida, so it was only 2 hours away. Being my first one, I really didn't know what to expect. It turns out it's supposed to be at least a 5K. We signed up for the sprint, so that's supposed to be a 5K. Our course was 3.7 miles long, and we had 21 obstacles to get through. I have a few pictures of me doing like some of the obstacles. Of course, there aren't photographers at all of them, and our family wasn't like able to get to all of the obstacles, but they do have like an area for spectators to take pictures, yada yada. I will go through the obstacles now and tell you what I passed and what I failed. So the first obstacle, it was the hay wall. Super simple, a big gigantic bundle of hay, almost as tall as me. Like I feel like it was 4 feet tall, and you basically need to run it, jump over it. Super simple. Well, I say super simple. For me, super simple. Maybe some other people had a problem with it, but like with the hay, it's bundled, so you can kind of grab those as you jump over it. I don't know. Then there was the over walls, 4-foot walls. So again, you needed to run and jump or to have someone boost you. I'm pretty sure everyone on my team, we got over it on our own, like just by running and pushing up and swinging your leg over, because 4 feet, I mean, I'm only 5 feet tall, but 4 foot isn't, you know, that tall, not the end of the world. Then the third obstacle, so I don't have a picture of myself doing this. I'll try to put pictures on the screen. It's the Z wall. So it's basically a big old zigzag, and it's got different pegs, and you weren't allowed to grab the top, and you weren't allowed to fall off. So you had to very strategically move, you know, an arm and a leg. It wasn't really challenging until you would get to an end of a wall and have to flip over to that other side. That's where it got a little tricky, but it was doable. We all made it across. It was fine. The fourth obstacle, which I knew I would fail, is monkey bars. And these weren't just your typical monkey bars, man. They were so wide spaced apart. Like, I didn't stand a chance. I attempted everything, obviously, but I mean, I held onto that first bar and even tried to swing myself, and I could not get the momentum. So typically with a Spartan race, if you fail an obstacle, you're supposed to do 30 burpees. Well, we were just in the open, so we didn't know that technically we didn't have to do any burpees. That's just for like elite people. But I did do 10 burpees. Like no one was there counting, so it was super confusing because I thought like people were going to be counting your burpees, but again, we didn't know that we didn't technically have to do them. So stupid. So I did 10 burpees for failing the monkey bars, and then we ran on to the fifth obstacle, which was the sandbag carry. Dude, it was so heavy. It was 45 pounds, and it's not like we just carried a little bit. It felt like we were carrying it a mile. I'm sure it wasn't that long, but we were trucking through mud that varied from like, you know, ankle deep to knee deep, almost to waist deep. Well, at some point, shit, it was like waist deep at this one area. It got heavy. I'll speak for myself. I carried around my neck, and it was like uneven. There was more sand on one side, so it just sucked. But we made it through, got that 45-pound sandbag through that huge fucking truck of mud. Then next was the Atlas carry. Thank God this was a shorter distance. It was a 70-pound like concrete ball essentially, and it wasn't far. We had to carry it like down straight, walk around a pole, and bring it back. So short distance because it was so heavy, but we got through it. It was fine. So then our seventh obstacle was the inverted wall. This was so hard. I don't even know if I'll be able to find like pictures to show you. This is one I wasn't that worried about, but essentially it's an inverted wall. So you kind of step up on like these little riser. It's like a wood block, and you gotta bring your body up and then over. It was so hard. So my friend Allison, she was like, let's be real, she was the strongest out of the three of us, and she's like, okay, you guys are gonna kneel on my shoulders, I'll lift you up, whatever. So she did. She hoisted us up, and the idea was to come back around for her, which we did. We didn't just leave her high and dry. There were like three of us pushing her up when it came to it, because shit, if she wasn't exhausted after like hoisting us too. Anyway, So she pushed you up and then you gotta pull your body over. I am not strong enough. Luckily this volunteer, there are volunteers at like every station, he was super nice and he was like encouraging. He's like, you got it, you got it. And he held onto my arms for me and he's like, you're gonna do this. And eventually you swing your leg over and then you just kind of have to like slide down the first half, and then there's like a little place for you to put your feet so you don't just fucking land on the ground, and then you slide down the rest of the way. So we did it. We made it through that one. You are allowed to like help your team over things like that. Just because you can't hoist yourself over a gigantic wall doesn't mean it doesn't count. So we made it through that one. The 8th obstacle, which I have a ton of pictures of me doing this one because this was really close to like the spectator area. So friends and family, which I had their family took some pictures of me. My family didn't come, except that like I was salty. I'm glad they didn't come. My 2-year-old would not have had fun. Anyway, but the helix, it was essentially, it's like these X shapes and you have to make it across all of them. And it's like, you're holding onto these bars. You're not allowed to hold on to the top. You're not supposed to at least hold onto the top. You're supposed to grab the bars and then put your feet anywhere you can, really. But on the ones that would like go in, that was really hard because you barely had anywhere to put your feet. But yeah, you just had to bring yourself across by, you know, basically not slipping and grabbing onto little poles. After that was the A-frame cargo, which again, not complicated unless you're really afraid of heights, but like a big cargo net that you climb up, and it went pretty high, and then you gotta flip yourself over and then climb all the way back down. Like I said, unless you're like height phobic, that one was pretty easy. The next one, the spear throw. So this is something that we did not train for, we did not practice for. Nothing could have prepared me to fucking throw a spear. You had to throw this spear and get it to stick in the target for like 5-10 seconds, something crazy. And I threw it twice. The first time, so off base. My second time actually had a good arc on it, but no, it did not land. I don't know why. Instead of having people do burpees for this though, maybe they just couldn't find like space for burpees. They had what they called the penalty loop. So you had to take like an extra loop, and it was just essentially through a swamp, through the mud. You had to walk. It sucked. After that was the bucket carry. It wasn't a super long distance. I don't know. Some people out there seem to really be struggling. And then there were some people running with their buckets. I know the women's weighed, I want to say 40 pounds it was. And my strategy was just to carry it out in front of my stomach, like a baby. And that was super easy for me. I cruised through it pretty quickly. And then I saw the photographer and I had to like throw up my typical peace sign and just hold it with one hand for a minute because, you know, I like my peace signs. But yeah, there's the bucket carry. After that was the 6-foot wall. And yeah, that one, it's like, I'm 5 feet tall. I needed help getting over it for sure. So again, Allison, we knelt down in her hands. She was a little boost. You pull yourself up, swing your leg over, boom. After that was when I thought I was gonna fail. It's the multi-rig. It's basically like monkey bars, but instead of bars, it's rings. But it was so much easier because you can swing yourself. So I was like, I'm gonna fail it. I already knew like you're gonna have to do burpees. But I did the first one and then I kept going and I was like, holy shit, I'm making it, I'm doing it. And then you get to the end, you have to like ring the bell. Well, by that point, I'm like, I can't get to the bell because the bell was even higher than the rings and I'm just so little. And there's this guy at the end and he's like, come on. And these people were cheering for me. And he's like, can you reach it? And I was like, no. And he's like, can you lift yourself up? And I was like, I'm swinging with both hands now at the last one. I was like, I've literally exerted all my energy. I could not swing myself up. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna boost you up when you swing forward next time and you're gonna hit it. And if I didn't like fucking knee or kick him in the head, that sweet man, I hit it and then I came down like on top of him. Bless his heart. But he was really nice. Anyway, so I got that one and I didn't have to do any burpees. After that, vertical cargo. So we did that A-frame cargo. This time it was just an up and over. Like a lot easier than the A-frame cargo. Although it's easier to climb in the net than like the metal bars they have put in there. Those are kind of slippery. So yeah, but that was pretty easy to get over. Next up, the rope climb. We trained so hard. We accomplished climbing a rope and man, 1, their ropes were nylon. We weren't used to climbing those, period. 2, they were so wet and muddy. We just didn't stand a chance. I got like 3 pulls up on like my first try and I couldn't go up anymore. I gave it 3 good tries. I tried 3 different times and I was like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. We all failed that one together, but it was like, I don't want to exert any more of my energy trying to climb this rope when it's clearly not going to happen. So again, there was no one really counting your burpees. So I did 10 burpees for that one. Then we ran over to the barbed wire crawl. So typically it's like just straight barbed wire, but they decided to make it fun for us in Jacksonville. It was up a gigantic fucking hill that we had to climb under this barbed wire. And then on the other side, we got to go down normal. But crawling up it, like, I was using my knees at first, like crawling on my elbows and knees, and my knees are jacked up from it. Then when I finally got on my feet, I was like, oh, this is so much easier to like cruise up it. So yeah, we made it through, but it just sucked, that's all, but it was good. After that was rolling mud. It was essentially 3 like muddy hills. You would go over the muddy hill and then down into like a mud pit, and up another muddy hill, down into a mud pit, up into another muddy hill, down into a mud pit, and then this obstacle led right into the next one. So you're in that muddy pit, and then there's like this inflatable thing that goes under the muddy water, and it's called the dunk wall. And with the dunk wall, you had to go under the inflatable, so you had to go under in the muddy water. You had no choice, and then come out on the other side, which they got lovely pictures of everyone doing. But it's like basically you reach your arm under and you feel for the bottom of the inflatable. At least that's what I did, because I wouldn't know like how thick is this thing that I'm gonna have to swim under. And it was fine. It was cold because it was already cold outside, and then like that cold muddy water, it was cold, but we made it. Then we get to the 19th obstacle. It was called the slip wall, and holy hell, it was slick. It's basically like this fucking almost straight up incline, and you have a rope, so you're climbing, you're walking pretty much straight up and using your arms to like climb the rope to get you up there. So I got all the way to the top, and then there was this man on the other side, and I was like at the top, like standing pretty much like vertical, like what do I do? I said, how do you go from this point to getting over there? And he's like, you just gotta reach. I'm like, oh my God. So I reached for it, I dove, and I caught it with my arms, but I'm like, I'm not strong enough to pull myself up. Like, I'm gonna fucking go down. And I said, oh man, I really don't want to go down. And he said, you're not going to. And him and his friend, sweet angels, grabbed my hands and held me so that I could swing my legs over. Like, seriously, the camaraderie and the teamwork, it's so amazing. It just makes you feel good that everyone is there. They're not just looking out for themselves. Like, they could have been like, oh, deuces lady, and ran on so that they could get a better time, but they're like down to help people. Yeah, so I was super proud of myself for getting over that damn slip wall, even though like they helped hold my hands. Again, it still counts. Like, I made it over. It was all good. I didn't die, and I didn't come crashing down and bruising the shit out of myself like a lot of people, because man, that looked like it fucking hurt. Obstacle 20 was the heroic hoist, and for women it was 65 pounds. It was like a giant sandbag, I'm pretty sure. It starts on the ground, and you've got a rope, and you have to pull the rope to get the sandbag all the way in the air. And I mean, I was like laying down, trying to pull it, putting my ass into it, putting my feet into it, literally just doing what I could to get it up. So that was a bitch. Get it up, but then you can't just let it go. If you let it go and it slams, you fail. You have to let it down slowly, which is like almost equally as hard. But I was using my foot and like standing on the rope, so I'd only let a little bit go at a time. That way it didn't come crashing down. But we all got through that one. And then the last obstacle was the fire jump, which it's not really even that much of an obstacle. I think that, you know, they just call it an obstacle, whatever. But it's basically the finish line. You run and you jump across fire. I mean, the fire was pretty much going out. It was like hot logs. There was a little bit of fire. Like, I know I jumped over a baby flame. But yeah, we made it. We did it. And it was so much fun. Such a fun experience. I feel like I'm addicted now. I want to do so many more. Or maybe not even a sprint. Like, the sprints are easy because they're 5Ks, but maybe like a super, I don't know how many miles that is. Is it 10 miles? I've done Tough Mudders before, and those are usually 10 miles. So I know I could handle it. I just need to kind of build my endurance up, because I could handle running a whole 5K. I don't know if I could handle running like a 10-mile one. That would be a lot, but super cool. Crossed the finish line. We got a medal and a banana and like a Fit Aid. And yeah, I loved it. And I can't wait for my next one. So I guess I'm just going to keep training and try to get stronger and try to get faster. And maybe I can do another one in a few months. That would be pretty cool. If you guys have any questions about the race itself, or like any of the training I did leading up to it, please let me know in the comments below. Except for 1 week where we had a death in the family, I was training 6 days a week, 2 hours a day. And that's what I still do. I go to the gym 6 days a week. Now I go between an hour and 2 hours because I started doing CrossFit. Usually when I do that, I'm like done after an hour, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I did a lot of training. I don't know if I have a lot of knowledge, but I can try to answer your questions. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so, so much, and I'll see you later. Bye.